TGP. Welcome to your microsode of the Friday, or whatever day this comes out. We are talking about Souls.
We're talking about Dark Souls, guys.
Yeah, Dark Souls.
We love you guys. You guys love us, and you love our Dark Souls content or From Software content.
Here's a peek into the back, into behind the scenes. The most played episode by far of an entire archive is like a Sekiro top 10 bosses, I think.
We did like top 10 for almost all the games for the bosses.
So we're gonna do a few of those again because hey, look, if you guys like it, you guys like it, but also if it brings in more people, then that's what we want to.
Yeah.
So,
well, Sekiro's like number 1, and then Dark Souls 3 is number 2.
Yeah.
And then for some, I can't remember what the third one is, but it's just a random episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about enemies this time, not bosses,
just
no bosses.
basic scrubs.
So there are. So this is where we probably need to be very clear. I have a couple enemies that never appear as bosses in the game, but they don't respawn after you kill them. But we'll
talked about that, but
I'll allow it for you. We'll talk about. I thought we talked about like Capra and Taurus because those are actual bosses.
So I think we talked about NPCs or invaders.
None of those.
Okay, then that's fine.
Yeah, cool. All right.
That's it.
Well, we should start with the worst ones, and then we can end on a positive note because we're doing 5 worst and 5 best. And I should be clear, talking about 5 best, we're talking about like our 5 of our ones that we like the most in the world that are at least.
There might be some fun enemies, right?
They're like offensive, they're fun to fight. Yeah.
I think that in Sekiro there are I think it will change because I think a lot of these are lore for me or like lore like style for best. But I think in Sekiro there's like some things I was like I really like fighting this.
Yeah. So. Sekiro's definitely got that though because like Sekiro has the most rhythm I think you can get into with the games.
Yeah. That is true.
Anyways.
Also, you might have noticed we have a little bit of a different setup. Yeah, it's not 100% done. We're slowly working on it. We're going to hopefully get rid of this little green screen thing and do a nice little backdrop for you.
Yeah.
But we love you guys. And without further ado, we're going to do our top 10, baby.
Nice try, dude.
It was good.
Let's do, not top 10, by the way. We're going to do top 5 and top 5.
Well, okay. So it's top 10
no,
total.
Yeah, but it's 2 different lists. So let's do 5 worst, right?
Yeah.
And we'll do you first and me.
Yeah.
We'll do 5 and 5, 4 and 4.
We'll do 5 and 5,
and we'll see where we overlap.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
You ready for this, guys? Yeah. All right. So coming at you at number 5.
Dark Souls 1, by the way.
Dark Souls 1. We're just doing we're doing Dark Souls 1. We'll go through each game. That way it gets a little bit of a spread for you. But my least favorite. No, I'm just kidding. It's my 5. Is the Undead Assassin. Now.
In Dark Souls 1?
In Dark Souls 1. You might be going...
Oh, these are the ones that throw a knife, right?
So they're the ones in like it's like pretty much the first spot you go to.
Is it in the cellar area?
No, when you go up the ladders and then... Wait, no, it is in the cellar. We know like the boss with the 2 dogs?
Yeah, that's the Capra demon?
Yes, the Capra demon.
Once you go past that?
No, it's before that.
Oh.
And they're just coming out and ganking you.
Oh, in the alleyway?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
So I cannot tell you the amount of times that I have been killed
they suck.
by those guys.
Yeah.
And it's more so like there's so many, or there's like a lot of random enemies attacking you.
This is the only area in the game they're in, though. They're just there, just pegging. And there's like 5 or 6. There's 3 in the alley, right? And then there's like 2 past the boss arena.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
But I'm just saying, I get killed by them every single time.
100% with you, man. I hate that.
So it is one of my least favorite bosses.
Nope, not a boss. Regular enemy.
Regular enemies. Yeah. They're a boss to me because that's how hard they are.
So I guess I come from a slightly different perspective because I my past with Dark Souls 1 is I've platinumed about 6 times.
Yeah. So nothing's hard for you.
Spent a lot of time playing Dark Souls 1, and the things that probably annoy the most are the ones that kind of slow the runs down. And one of those guys, probably the least offensive enemy in the grand scheme of things, are the giant stone knights. That, can slow you down with their spell once you hit them.
Yep.
And when you're trying to do a trophy like a run, like I got to the point where I was just like, hey, I want to do a platinum on this game this time, and
oh wow, you got to that.
Yeah, and I was like, I want this today, I'll do this today, and I wouldn't do it in one day. Obviously, I'd do it in like a week or 2. But
right.
Those guys are just, you have to get down there pretty early. And I just don't like those guys. They slow you down, and you have to sprint past one, and then you're trying to get the human summon for the Dark Moon Butterfly because that human summon can just, or that NPC summon can just destroy them with the butterfly. But like you have to be a human, but those stone guys can kill you so quickly if you're terrible at the game. And I like to call myself the best worst player who like knows a ton, but is still not good at the game.
Okay,
So,
I think you're pretty good.
I would often.
I think
die
you make
there.
mistakes.
Well,
I think we all make mistakes.
I'd use humanity. I'd go human. I'd run forward, I'd get killed, I'd be like, this is so dumb. And that would happen a lot more than I'd like to admit, just because of that area having the poison giant snakes, the tree men who are super annoying. Not tree men, the vine like whip enemies that can chip
Right.
it's super annoying too.
Yeah. They're like bushes
They
or whatever.
barely missed my list, but yeah, they were almost in there too. I hate those guys.
Yeah, they almost they were almost on mine too.
Yeah. But those nights are so, and like the thing is, like, those nights are so like largely avoidable.
Okay.
You have to fight. You don't even really have to fight any. I think you can actually sprint past all of them.
Yeah, you can for sure, because that's what I always do.
But
100% of the time.
as a whole, I don't like them. So that's my number 5.
Do you have to fight them for the platinum trophy runs? Do you have to like unlock?
You have to go through that whole area no matter what, because you need to get the divine ember up top of the tower, which is past the butterfly.
Okay.
And so you have to go through that area no matter what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus you have to go to the lower level too, which has got a ring down there, I think. I don't actually know if you have to do that.
I mean,
Maybe
if
some
it's a
more.
ring, you got to get that ring, dude.
I don't know if Dark Souls 1 had all rings achievements. I think it didn't have that, but we'll see. I don't remember. I don't think it had that. Yeah. Pretty sure it didn't have that, because I remember I only got like the Eastwood Grain Ring, which is the one that makes you back, or I think it's the one that makes you backflip, or front flip. But I only got that ring like twice ever, because it was just didn't really have a reason to get it otherwise.
You could front flip?
Mhm.
I did not know that.
There's a ring that
never gotten
changes
that
your
ring.
whole roll animation just to a flip, just like you go in your hands and forward.
Is there a reason for it? Is
don't
it
know.
like helpful? Does it like make your
I think
hitbox
you
harder?
do have more frames during it.
Huh.
I think you have a few more frames during it. I don't know that confidently, but it does look cool. It looks a lot different than you're used to, because you're spending the whole game doing the same roll over and over again.
Right.
And now it's different.
That's
But you
interesting,
just
dude.
buy a ring off this dude, the guy from the East. I can't remember his name, but he wears the Eastern armor,
Okay.
which is like I can't remember exactly.
I have like Dark Souls 2 in my head because I'm not playing that right now.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I can't remember. He's from the East. That's what they always say about him, is guy from the East. But yeah,
I don't know.
he has a katana. He
The katana guy that his wife died in the very beginning.
What? In Dark Souls 1?
Yeah.
What game are we talking about?
Dark Souls 1.
I don't
When you
remember
go
the lore.
down the thing, and then he's like the first merchant that you can find, and then you can kill him and get his katana.
I don't. Oh, that guy. His wife died.
That's what he says.
Oh, that's sad. I never kill
Well,
that
I
guy.
kill him. I make him.
Because
I
he
send
does
him
drop
off.
the Uchi
I send
katana.
him home, dude.
I think he drops the Uchi katana, which I think in Dark Souls 1 is like it claps. You know,
It claps.
It's an Uchi. It's a high dex weapon with bleed. You know, what are you gonna do?
You're gonna use it,
Yeah, in a game that a lot of bosses bleed in Dark Souls 1.
dude. I mean, you need it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You need it because Dark Souls 1 is cheap sometimes.
Not as bad. I don't think it's the cheapest too, but
No, I know. That's true.
what's your number 4?
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. What's my number 4?
So my number 4 is the Silver Knights, but only
Only the archers.
the archers, because absolutely, you know what, those guys, okay?
You don't like them at all.
No, I think some of the cheapest deaths I've ever had is I'm running.
That is such a
And
yeah,
I'm running when you're running up the arch and they're like
Yeah.
shooting down at you, and then I'm like, oh, I can time this, and I time it, I think, perfectly, and then it's like you just get hit and it makes you stagger once, and then a ton of other arrows hit you and you fall off.
So
I hate that part.
it's such a bottleneck. Like, it's such like a, and the bigger bummer of it is that like the closest bonfire is like
Dude.
across like the cylindrical spin thing, you know?
Yes,
So you have
bro.
to- and then there's a bunch of
It's
like
just
demons.
a trek.
Yeah,
It's a trek to get over there.
because
and
it's like it's right before bonfire.
it's annoying.
I missed that run, dude.
Do you?
I do actually.
Why?
I thought that was one of those. That was the make or break moment for me to figure out parrying, because
You know what's crazy? I don't parry. Ever.
yeah. And I was like, you learn your iframes through the rolls, through the arrows. You know,
Mhm.
if you want to grade shield it, you can definitely tank it and do that.
Yeah.
But then you get to the top, get to the wall, and there's just a silver knight in front of you. You have to deal with it somehow. And you can either do your rollbacks and then try to do like a stab in, or roll
Yeah.
forward to roll through his attacks and stab, or you can parry. And a parry will do almost all of his health unless you have a high crit weapon that will kill him. I just thought that was a moment where I had to learn, and then I did. And really appreciate it about the game.
I appreciate that.
That's why they're
about
not on my list, but I understand why they're on everyone else's.
you. I get that.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Oh no, you should. They're awful. it's a pretty.
They are
jacked up
for
scenario.
sure my least favorite.
I understand that.
What about you, baby?
My number 4. Oh yeah, so my number 4. So again, back to the trophy run kind of understanding of why.
Yeah,
I did
we'll
this.
have different. We play the games differently, so this is why
Yeah.
we don't have the same exact list.
So this might be on your list, but the Channeler Trident is one of the
I
hardest
do
items
not like them, but they're not my list.
to farm in the game. So the
Mm.
channelers I'm really familiar with. They really aren't offensive in the later parts of the game when you're like, when you're farming them. It's really offensive when you're in the parish, in the church, and you just have the 3 Baldur Knights in there, and they get, or no, I'm sorry, you have the 40 undead in there, and they just bump up the entire undead
Dude,
army.
So
And you're like, this
many.
is so dumb. And then you do the whole thing, and you lose way too much health because every undead hits you for way too much.
Yeah.
And then you get through it, and you're like, well, I'm not going to fight the boss. I only have 2 Estus left. So then you kill the channeler. He doesn't respond, thankfully.
Right.
And then you can go back, rest up, and do this again, and kill all the undead. And this time, hopefully, kill them or sprint past them if you're good enough.
That's an idea.
I don't think you can actually sprint past them. I think.
Well, you can bait them. You go and then you run down, and then you run out, and then you run back.
Yeah, I think one can catch up to you every time. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I could be wrong about that.
You just didn't put enough speed.
That's not
put enough.
you didn't increase your speed stat, a non-existent stat in the game.
It's called endurance, bro.
Yeah, endurance is what helps you run faster in the game.
Well, you just hold down B. You can run longer, dude.
No, I don't think there's enough room to get there.
Oh,
I think there's an undead that is close enough that can hit you while you're at the bottom of the ladder. But I'm not entirely confident.
Are you using fireballs? Or?
Why would you use a fireball if you're trying to sprint past them?
Because you light them on fire and you run.
Okay, well, if you want to kill them all, then absolutely, I'm with you. That's why I feel like I have to do every time. What's your number 3?
I don't have a number 3, but I have a number trace, and that is, dude. This might have been number 1, but then this was my number 1 for most of the time making my list, and then I found a few others that I was like, okay, yeah. But the attack dogs.
That's my number 3 also.
Every single one.
And so for me,
all of them
specifically, I don't care about any of them except for the 3 bullshitters. As soon as you go down to Lower Undead Burg, those 3 that run up the stairs, I hate those 3 so much.
The undead ones?
Yeah. Undead attack dogs. I'm with you. Go ahead. Sorry. You hate them all.
I hate them all. I mean, it's mainly like this. Every single From Software game, for the most part, has like the dog or an animal that comes out of nowhere and attacks you. And it's fine, but I do think like when they stack them, like what you're talking about, like it sucks. It is objectively like just
and they attack so fast.
Not a fun time. Yeah, they attack so fast, and also they're pretty quiet. You just hear, yeah, and then you just hear, rah, and then you're dead.
I can't. I think every Souls game has dogs, and I can't stand them in almost any of them. They're probably the best in Sekiro because you can just one tap them with a shuriken in Sekiro.
That is true.
Sorry, they're the least offensive in Sekiro.
Yeah, they're the least
Bad.
offensive.
Let me rephrase that. But Dark Souls 1, and I get it. Like there is obviously the infamous example of the Capra demon with 2 dogs in that little tiny boss room. Me personally, I hate that too. Mm-hmm. It's really not the most offensive. I really think the lazy placement of just putting him in a super narrow staircase.
Yeah. It's like, hey guys. Hey, wouldn't it suck if like you had to fight 3 dogs in this tight area?
I just feel like, okay, well, I'm time to switch make sure I have a shield out. Just tank the first hits and slash them. Like I don't know. I don't like the scenario. It's a really
I'm with you.
Tepid. Yeah,
it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
Don't like that boss. Damn it, I keep saying boss.
I actually kind of like that Capra demon dogfight, but I like it because, and I understand why it's bad. I understand people don't like it, but I like it because it really forces you to scramble and to understand like the parts of Dark Souls where it's like, hey, this is not going to go according to plan. Like you can't really go into that with too much of a plan. You have to go in and just react to the dogs' attacks, right?
Yeah.
The Capra's attacks and get up on that staircase so you can get those dogs up there.
Got to get up down
But it's just like you got to scramble, and I like that. It forces you to scramble. Like they kind of make you do. It's weird that Dark Souls is like early bosses are like weird corridor fights. Like on the top of the wall is a weird corridor fight with the Taurus, which is the first boss fight.
Yeah, I just love how I can just boop, 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 and then just drop down and hit him.
Yeah,
that's all I do.
That's super easy. Oh yeah, until he jumps up.
Nope,
because he can jump up.
He can, but you have to
just roll down.
Yeah,
and stab him in the head.
Yeah.
I don't do the head stab anymore. I just roll through his obviously telegraphed attacks. So
I mean that's fair. You have platinum it 6 times, so makes sense.
That's coming a mile away, homie.
Let me get a little coffee break while you're doing that.
That upstab was like 30% of his health, 40% of his health.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, number 2.
What
you got?
Oh yeah, I don't even know if I need this. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The blow dart snipers.
I was like, I get that,
bro.
Instant toxic.
I hate it so much that you can't even really see them. It's such a dark area unless you like light it up, and then just out of nowhere you just hear, and then you're like, oh, I have toxic.
It's so bad because it's a dark area, but also those projectiles are tiny.
They're so tiny.
Yeah, and they're instant toxics. I feel like, aren't they toxic?
They are.
It's
It's
not poison.
toxic.
It's toxic.
It's not poison.
Which means you're automatically dipping through at least a couple Estus, you know.
And
you don't have,
I mean, again, those guys have killed me so many times that it's just not funny. Or a lot of times I'm like so concentrated on them and finding them that I'm not paying attention to like where I'm walking or other things, and I fall off.
Yeah.
That might be more of a me thing, but
they're not on my list at all because I think that their redeeming factors they aren't respawning enemies. They will be gone after you kill them once, and there's only 3 of them, I believe, and one of them you don't have to interact with at all.
That's fair.
That's why I didn't put them on my list. They are absolutely not a good enemy in my opinion. I think instant procking toxic on a guy when you really have to farm those blooming mosses.
Yeah,
like, those purple mosses aren't hard to get. The blooming ones though that cure toxic at that point in the game when you're there, especially because you don't have the warping ability yet, and you're kind of just stuck down there. Once you're there, you've traveled so far down at that point, right?
You're there, dude. You're in the thick of it.
So you stuck there, and then with the frame rate, you know, we were playing that back in the day, and you're like, this is even worse.
Yeah.
Like it's chugging so bad, like I can't even like see where the dart's coming from.
Yeah,
remember that,
dude? No, not really.
Dark Souls,
because I've only played Dark Souls 1 remastered.
Okay. Oh, you really? Oh, okay. So on the 360 PS3 days when it first came out, that was an infamously like low frame rate area, and it was just like an area that I would speed run through, hoping for the best most of the time. Like that was my actual hope, was I hope I make it down this, because it's just like there's a lot of bullshit, crap, a lot of crap that can happen just by running through it with the frame drops and that kind of stuff.
I mean, it makes sense.
And toxics, you know, and the dogs in there, the dumb attack dogs in that area too that breathe fire.
Dude,
those aren't as bad.
I forgot about those guys too.
They stand still when
they do stand still when they're like,
and you're like, okay, well, fine.
They try to iron.
But they're short.
What's that Marvel guy? Iron something?
I don't know.
Iron Man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When he goes, that's what they do when they just stand there, open their mouths, and then they shoot fire out.
Something like that, yeah. Like when
you don't know what I'm talking about?
No,
Iron Man, when he has this little hand, he goes pew.
Oh,
you know that, right?
Just the little rocket at the tank.
Yeah, he just stopped.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
not the
fine.
rocket. Just his little. He's like a laser.
Yeah, he can fire a laser.
Yeah. So it's like the dog stops and opens his mouth and goes and shoots fire. God, what are you making me look stupid for?
Two different. That's like energy blasts. And fire.
I just meant that they both. I'm
sorry.
And
I
shoot.
I didn't make that connection. I'm sorry.
You should be.
My bad. Number 2 is Blooded Snipers.
Yeah.
Where's yours? I mean, I could see that. My number 2 is the same area. The giant mosquitoes at the bottom.
Oh,
I hate them so much, man. I hate them so much.
And
like they're in Demon Souls, and they're just as annoying in Demon Souls because they're gonna poison you, and they're like endlessly respawning. I hate it. I hate it so much. They don't have a point. Like they don't need to be there. Like to instantly spawn them or just to throw 2 at a time every time. That doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, and they're constantly responding.
And there's always 2, and they can poison you. And so you just try to avoid them the whole time. But in the original versions, the frame rate's still not great down there. So you're like, okay, well, I don't want to deal with these guys. Let's just go to Quelaag and do this. You know, and get over.
Let's go to my favorite boss,
and then die to Quelaag because I'm terrible at Quelaag.
I love Quelaag. Love you, girl.
She's not difficult at all anymore. But
she's not difficult. She's cool. Cool story.
Those mosquitoes suck, dude. They're absolutely the worst. Every game that those mosquitoes are in, and I know that they just rolled over from Demon Souls, but they're bad in Demon Souls too. They're on my list in that. And
are they even Demon Souls?
They're like number 3 overall or 4 overall because like they're just so annoying.
They're
like
really
giant
bad.
Mosquitoes aren't fun. Like they're not there to be a combat challenge. They're there to be like tactical decision. Can you get away from this task effect? Probably not.
No.
Because they're gonna spawn forever. You know. I don't want to deal with this. You know. This is like a weird dumb thing.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
It's just
they're a garbage enemy, and there's too many of them in one spot. You're getting poisoned almost 100%.
Yeah, it just adds on like and especially when you're like, if you get that bonfire right there in the little gutter area, whatever, you just walk out, you get poisoned, like fine, and you just go back and like heal up because you're annoyed. And like it's not like this poison's like toxic, right? It's just regular poison, so you probably have enough of those mosses farmed up at this point from just traveling down here. it's just still annoying and dumb and pointless to me.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
But like if Dark Souls was like really big into its ecology, I could totally get behind them. Like hey, it makes sense they're down here. It's kind of like the world design, But it feels like they're just slapped. I mean, I get it, it's a swamp, but like they're just slapped in pairs
Swamp
of two.
mosquitoes, you get it?
All they do is just home in on you. They don't like hang out in their own spot. They home in on you.
It's because they love you,
It's
dude.
dumb.
They love that undead blood.
Yeah, undead blood dud.
Undead blood.
Number 1, dude. We might have the same one.
It might be the same one because we haven't said it. Basilisk?
That's your number 1?
That's my number 1.
I have nothing against basilisks.
Dude.
I love that enemy, dude.
Why?
They're not difficult in Dark Souls 1. You have to farm them in Dark Souls 1 for a trophy, so.
Oh, okay. So
I never had a problem with them.
I just hate that
farms.
they curse you.
Oh, yeah. Curse sucks.
Curse is the worst, especially in Dark Souls 1 for sure. It's so bad.
It's a bad disease. It kills you.
So I don't like, because again, they'll stack them and they keep responding.
Yeah.
And they stack them with usually 3 to 4 of them. And if you get trapped, if they all pincer you, you are just effed.
You're talking about the sewers, right?
Huh?
The sewers?
Yes.
Yeah, because you want the ring of the evil eye back.
Mhm.
Well, that's what they're kind of guarding. They're the PvP enemy or PvE.
But even in
enemy?
Dark Souls 3, I hate them in Dark Souls 3.
I don't like them in Elden Ring as much, but I just feel like
Elden
they're
Ring
really
is
dumb in
easy.
Elden Ring.
They
also
toned them down
barely
because
there.
they were I get that you like farmed them.
I never had an issue.
They cursed me so
they
many
cursed
times.
me here and there, but usually of my own folly and of me being dumb.
I mean, it might be more my fault, but I still hate
No.
them.
No. I mean, I've all again from a trophy perspective, I've had to learn how to fight them.
Right.
I've had to spend a long time because they dropped the item for, I believe it's the Dark Wraith Covenant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe.
What do they drop?
Like the Covenant item that you need to donate.
What is a covenant item?
I think it's
like fingies.
I think
eyeballs?
It's a tongue. No, tongue
They're
is for the tongue is for the Silver Crow guys. Remember the human with crow arms? They dropped that. No, they dropped the ears. Shoot, dude. Tongue is from a different game. Tongue is from 3, I think.
Okay.
I want to say it's an eye now.
I mean, it makes sense. They got 2 big old buggy eyes.
I can look it up, but I'll say my number 1. That's weird. My number 1's Bone Wheel Skeletons. They were malicious in Dark Souls 1. They're the worst, and not the ones in the friggin' catacombs. Not those ones. The ones in the Painted World of Ariamis in that dumb catacomb, where like fake walls, and then they have like the water main. You have to turn the fountain. That is an awful area to wander through without a great shield.
It is.
Like, just to see, great, a wheel skeleton. Time to
the
die.
only thing my only reason for not putting it on the list is I can just hear them. They're so, because you just hear wow,
yeah,
and then I'm just like, okay, I just need to get out of the way.
But they hit you once, you're locked in.
But that is true. Once you get stun locked and you're dead.
Yeah, and they just shred you to pieces. They attack so much in a row.
Yeah, are you usually like a glass cannon when you play Dark Souls 1?
I'm a dex build every time.
So no.
So a light armor dex build. I'm glass cannon in the sense of like no armor,
or like no health. Like you don't like.
No. I have health fine. I don't have an issue with health so much. But that game, I will hang around 20 and 25, and that's it. Which I think is the most you need for that game.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah.
You might not even need. You might even need 20, and that's it.
I feel like 20 is usually how I do with most health until I hit a level where.
But even then, like even with Havel's armor on, you're still taking a bunch of damage.
Havel's armor.
Like, hey,
you wearing Havel's armor, dude?
I always wear Havel's
armor. He was
armor.
almost on my list, but he was.
Yeah. I wear Havel's armor for the poise for the Four Kings fight, so I can tank through the hits.
Dude, when I hate his hits.
Four Kings?
No, Havel's.
Havel's? Oh,
and he just like he gets you and just you're down 100% like every single time.
Just
I'm like,
you?
let me get up, and then it's like
Yeah, Havel's
back
a
down.
toughy boy. Yeah, I mean, bone wheel skeletons are just they toned them down so much in Dark Souls 2 where I didn't like. They almost didn't matter
really
anymore.
A problem at all in Dark Souls 2.
They're only there in I think they're only there in like 2 locations. I think it might just be one spot in the entire game, and that's just when you fight the Skeleton Lord when he summons him up.
Yeah,
that might be the only time you fight a bone wheel skeleton in that game.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually,
I can't even think of another place. There is no giant catacomb like there was in Dark Souls 3 and 1.
No, yeah, you're right. It is just I think the spot where it's like the chariot. Isn't he in there?
There's no bones and there's no wheels on the chariot fight.
Oh, there's no? Okay.
It's all just
so it's just in that one where there's 3. Okay.
It might be. That's weird. It's weird that would be so relegated. Anyways, the catacombs, there's only 3 or 4 in the catacombs as a whole. And like they are all in the same, like in the bottom area. Even then, I feel like those guys are really easy to lure out. But even
I was just talking about Dark Souls 2, dude.
yeah,
With the chariot and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, we were
I
still
went back to 1.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you're
okay,
good.
okay.
I went back to 1. You're good.
I was like, was I talking about 2 this whole time?
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, I hate them. I know. I can't. I wish they were gone in that game. I wish they
Yeah.
weren't in Dark Souls 1.
I hear you.
Yeah.
They're not good.
Or if they
What
were.
about the skeleton babies?
Those are only in the Tomb of Giants, I believe, at the
Yeah,
very end towards
the very
Neo.
end. Yeah.
They can be rough. I don't think I've ever died to them.
No, me neither. They're just creepy
They're super creepy. I mean, that's anytime a baby
and kind of dark.
Anytime a child or a baby is an enemy, like in Dead Space, it's just like, ooh, this is dark, man. This is hard to, especially when as you as a dad, right? It's like, geez.
Yeah, I will say as the Dead Space though, it wasn't as weird because they made the babies like so alien. Like if you stop and think about it, then you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But when you're in the middle of the game and you're scared, you're not like, oh no. You're just like, die, you evil.
Yeah.
But
that's good. That's good.
It
Okay.
makes sense. It's really fun to hear your perspective on how it would be from like the trophy hunting and stuff. I like that.
I'm itching for a new to play Dark Souls Remastered again. I was looking at the trilogy collection they sell on Amazon, and you can buy all 3 Dark Souls games on like one thing for like $30. And I was like,
on one disc?
no, it's like three discs.
Oh, okay, but
box,
it's like
so.
a little like box set. That's cool. Yeah, you should definitely get that.
but-
That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, and there's a PAL version for like a decent price. I was like, maybe $40 maybe, but I already have 2 physically, but I kind of want to have all 3 of them. And I will end up doing that Dark Souls 3 plat run at some point. It will just be
Well, you don't like it? No,
it's the worst plat run for all of them, and it's not even a contest, dude. Like having to farm Silver Knights in Orlando with like a 0.5% drop rate on the item you need, dude. That's not fun.
It is not.
There's nothing about
that.
Dark Souls
horrible.
3 has 6 covenants you need to grind for. 6. Dark Souls 2 only had 2.
Well, that's your fault.
No,
It is.
it's not my fault. It's the way the game was made. That's why I've never finished Dark Souls 3 plat run. Just 'cause
Really? So you never have done it?
No, but this is also like,
dude, that'd be cool. You should. You need to then.
I do need to. I know this is also hidden behind the fact that like it's not hidden, but like
You just don't
it's
like
my
it.
least
also.
favorite Dark Souls game too, and
Hmm.
to have to play through it what would amount to probably 70 to 80 hours. That's just a lot. It's a lot. If I did it focused, I could probably get to the farm point in like 30 hours, and that might be really like, okay, if I'm only 30 hours in, maybe it's not too bad of a grind,
Right.
But I do know it's going to be at least 2 to 5 hours per grind or per covenant, and that's a lot of time just to sit.
That's so long.
And that's just RNG. It could be anything. It could be longer than that. It could be shorter than that.
RNG.
But like 30 covenant items is a lot for a 0.5% drop rate
yeah.
on enemies that don't spawn in batches of a 40 and have decent enough health to have to go in there with strategy. It's like, yeah, not my favorite.
Well, if any of you guys are still here,
No. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about 5 enemies we like in Dark
now
Souls
we're gonna
1.
be like, hey, guess what? From
Yeah.
Software, you honestly make some cool stuff too. Which honestly you do. We love your games, obviously.
And again, it doesn't mean enemies we love. It means enemies I think that
it also could. We'll clarify
because
if
they
that's
could
the
be like amazing enemies we like to fight, but it's also like enemies that fit well in the world that surprised us, that we just thoroughly enjoyed their use in the world. Yeah, it could be any one of those things.
You want to go first on this one?
I do want to go first on this
I
one.
want you to go first too. I'm
And
curious if we'll have any of the same.
my least favorite out of these, but I still like them a lot, is, and I know this is me, but I love those Dark Wraiths so much.
Dude, Dark Wraiths is on mine too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Sick,
it's
dude.
number 4 for
They're
me.
so cool. They are so cool.
They are
The
cool.
armor's
dude.
rad. They have cool swords. They have really cool animations.
Yes.
Yes, they're tough.
They're
Yes,
super tough.
They're super backstab baity though.
Well, you know what's funny is they were almost on my list for being my least favorite because of the backstabby baiting stuff. Like
Yeah.
I get killed by those guys all the time. But
Oh, man,
they are so cool.
They're so cool.
And their armor is sick.
There's your chunk farm right there. So if you need to
Yep.
farm Titan chunks, that's what you farm.
Yep.
And I don't mind that at all.
Dude.
Swords. The dark sword is actually a decent. It's not a straight sword you normally use in a game, but it's a decent straight sword to use in that game. It doesn't compare to the Baldur's Side sword. Obviously, nothing really does.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah. Wait, how do we get to the meta?
Uh,
Oh, we just talked about the dark sword. Yeah.
yes.
No, I mean the meta
I
for
think
Dark
it's the
Souls 1.
meta.
It's the best quality weapon.
Metaverse.
I think it is the best quality weapon, especially if you get the crystal magic weapon on it.
Dude.
It's the Baldur's Side sword.
Never done that.
you can get some pretty bonkers damage output with that, especially if you're doing Clever Rat Ring or whatever it's called.
I do club.
Do you? So at some point in that game,
I beat Dark Souls 2 with Great Club and the Dragon Shield.
The Great Club is an A, or I think in scaling for strength.
Hell yeah, it is.
It's like a truck, dude.
Dude, they're just a regular club's A scaling.
Yeah. Well, no, the regular club is no. You're right, because it's C. The other one, the reinforced, is C, but it's bleeding damage, which is so weird for a blunt weapon bleeding damage. Weird.
Well, if you hit someone with a hammer, do you think they'd bleed? Or like a 2x4?
I think
the answer is yes.
I think they'll bruise before they bleed.
They will bruise before they bleed, but
whereas
they'll bleed.
If I had a sword, them. You know, a gouging weapon.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Technically, I guess every weapon makes you bleed.
That's true.
If you really, go, I guess that in on it, right?
What's your number 5?
So my number 5, I kind of forgot. Hold on. Is the Giants. So I love the design.
Yeah.
I
missed that design.
Dude, it's so cool. I seriously feel like, because Dark Souls 1, I can't remember. I for sure beat Dark Souls 2 and then played Dark Souls
2
3.
Is where I got you in. Yeah.
And then went to Dark Souls 1.
One was like your most. One was not your most recent, I guess, but it was one of the ones that you came back the longest from.
Yes.
After
and I play like the remastered version and all that kind of stuff. So
I think the only real difference to that is it has DLC built in. But
yeah.
I don't think there's anything.
And I never even played the DLC. Isn't that crazy?
DLC is pretty incredible for that game.
I need to do. Maybe that's what I should do. I should replay the Dark Souls 1, and do all of it.
We could do a randomizer.
I could. I see. You know what's crazy is I've only really figured out how to do that on Dark Souls 3. Elden Ring, because they made it so easy, and I feel like I just don't.
I will do a randomizer build with randomizer run with you if you want.
I would love that.
It's a lot of fun.
Dude, they're the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the Giants because I like the way they look. I think it's a very cool design. I also love that they're just so big you can run under their legs, and they're just a basic enemy. They're not like a boss, but they are kind of the size of a boss almost.
Yeah, I like the armor set on them. Yeah, I wish they were a little more frequent. I think there's only
like 2, right?
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
It's just the gate of Orlando.
Yeah,
at the main castle. Yeah.
I do like when they hit me and then I fly off the edge too. That's my favorite.
Every time, man. I hate those bat demons with a passion, though.
You do?
I don't like the bat demons at all.
Oh, dude, you're gonna be sad.
Are they on your list? There you go, man. I mean, they're cool aesthetically. I just they've always thrown me off. They've always thrown me off.
I was your number 4, baby.
Your number 4 was the.
My number 4 is Dark Wraith.
Okay, so my number 4 is Mimic. This is kind
Damn you, dude.
Is it on yours too?
It's my number 3.
Mimics. I'm so sorry, man.
It's okay.
Mimics I thought were really. So the reason Mimics are so. Probably why I think so highly of them here is because I think so lowly of them in Dark Souls 2. Mimics are just dog crap in Dark Souls 2. They're so infrequent, and also like the hitbox in Dark Souls 2 for them to grab you is just wild. Like it's just huge from like where you can be, and for them to just automatically magnetize you in front of them into an instant kill animation.
Dark Souls 2 does have a lot of magnetization.
There's a lot of weird like, this is part of my grab now. That being said, I think Dark Souls 2 has bosses that are just incredible. Anyways, moving on. Back to Mimics. I don't know. This is just kind of like the first, like, hey, oh my gosh, Mimics, what the heck is this, you know?
I think why they're on my list is because it feels like one of the first games. I could be wrong. I'm sure someone's screaming right now at the, whatever you listen to this on. But, like, I think it's one of the best games that did Mimics, like, right. It just feels good. The way that they did Mimics. And honestly, the first time I ever saw a Mimic, I was beyond surprised. Now these Mimics are way better because I think Dark Souls 2 was the one I got. And they would just destroy me. But I was bewildered. I was like, oh my gosh, like nothing's safe in this game. That was really like a feeling of like, wow, even like the rewards are safe in this game. So I love that. I love that they gave me an extra like, okay, am I going to open this? I'd always hit, them.
Yes. So I'm with you, and in one sense, I'm 100% with you. Like, I think Dark Souls does Mimics exceptionally well, mostly because they're so dangerous.
Mm-hmm. I just like how lanky they are.
The design-wise,
the design is so
really
cool, and like the teeth that big old tongue. I love it. If
you like the realism design, it's definitely really good. My favorite Mimic design is probably still going to be Dragon Quest.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing I'm playing right now.
What's up?
The thing I'm playing, Dragon Quest?
The old ones, yeah. I mean, like that's an old school Mimic design that they have had in there, and I just.
Oh, you mean Dragon Quest? Yeah. I
mean, Dragon Quest as a whole
cute.
Mimics. I mean,
it's fun. It's cute.
Akira Toriyama's art style, and it's like, I like Dragon Ball Z. I think he's a great artist. The way he does
Name
art,
one Dragon Ball Z character.
Piccolo. You want me to do more? Naruto.
Dude.
Sorry.
Dude, that was I would honestly Goku?
That's the main character. That's the main character of Dragon Ball.
Vegeta?
That's his rival. And maybe best friend? I'm not sure.
Piccolo, I know that one.
probably
Those
his
are the
actual
three
best
I
friend.
know. And then hold on, Bluma? Bluma? Bulma? Well,
Which is whose wife?
I don't care.
Vegeta's wife.
I don't even care. I just know that
What's
everyone's
Goku's
like,
wife's
she's
name?
so hot.
What's Goku's wife's name?
Anna?
Chi-Chi. What's Goku's son's name?
Goku Jr.
Goku 2.
Can you imagine
Go
if they
to.
called him Goku Jr.? That would have been way funnier. I mean, it would have sucked.
It
would have totally
it's
sucked.
Gohan.
Gohan.
And then he has another
Goku,
son.
Gohan.
Go 10.
Go Ron.
Go Ron Burgundy.
Go Ron Burgundy.
What's your number?
Okay, someone
number
who's a
four?
good artist. Hey, you know who you are. You know who I'm talking to right now. There's multiple artists.
Draw Ron
Go
Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy. Please, I'll commission you.
A Dragon Ball Z style Ron Burgundy.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Love you. Go
Yeah.
do it for me.
Yeah. Your number 4 was Dark Wraiths.
My number 4 was Dark Race. My number 3 was Mimics.
Do you want to say anything about Dark Wraiths before we move on to my number 3?
No, I already said my piece. They're
Okay.
sick as hell, dude.
And I'm assuming you're good with your number 3 as well.
Yeah, my number 3 is Mimics.
My number 3 is Crystal Lizards.
Oh, they are cool. I
Look-
didn't put them on my list, but they are
Yeah.
so cool.
They are the loosest definition of an enemy because they cannot attack you and therefore they're not really against you technically.
But you hate them
But-
because you slaughter them for what is inside
they're
of them.
so much better than Demon Souls Crystal Lizards. And like I hate the Crystal Lizards and Demon Souls so much because of how quickly they notice you and despawn. Dark Souls 1's Crystal Lizards are so much better, and maybe that's also because the hitboxes are better in Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you how much happy I almost got a Crystal Lizard tattoo. That was almost my tattoo I got. Was a Crystal Lizard.
That's a cool.
I
That would be a
didn't-
cool idea.
I know.
I like that.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Maybe we should
but
do that as a buddy tattoo. We get
I would do
Crystal
it.
Lizards, dude.
I would do it, man. In a heartbeat.
All right. Cool.
That's my number 3. Your 3 is
Mimic.
okay. Number 2, right?
Okay, what's your number 2, dog?
So let me look at my list real
If
quick.
it's gonna be mine,
'cause-
I know you don't have
Yeah.
one of these.
Well, so my number 2 is Hydras. There
Okay.
are 2 Hydras.
Wait a minute. That isn't that a boss?
There's no boss bar.
The
There's more
Hydra isn't a boss bar?
Than, nope. There's more than one of them.
The one at the lake is not a boss?
Nope.
Really?
You can run and leave that thing as it's got a regular health pool.
Oh, that's true.
I know this is where I was kind of like I don't know if it's not in the spirit of this or whatever, but
No, we can go with it. That's
they
fair.
don't
They are
respond.
super sick.
yeah, they are super sick. And I remember that was one of those points in the game where you kind of walk into an area and you're like, oh gosh, I shouldn't be here. You know,
Oh,
this is,
gosh. Yeah, that is true.
Oh my god, because it's like
You just
firing
hear,
water cannons at you, you know.
And then it's like water
Yeah,
things are
and you're
exploding.
like, okay, time to run. And I remember feeling like this is not in my favor. Dark
Yeah.
Souls is clearly not in my favor, and this was after
It took you that long to figure that out.
I had finally conquered like Havel after a bunch of hits, you know, and I
hate
finally
him.
now before that I had been the Dark Knight or the Black Knight up in the Berg, you know, and I was like I'd taken these challenges on, and then I saw this and I was like, I don't think I can do this, and that's when I turned around and went back up and went through the rest
and
of
then
the
you got
Berg.
blasted in the back from their
I mean,
water.
it's just one of those things where you realize that the world's bigger than
than you.
what your current challenges, you know.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh, like maybe I'm not, you know, games were holding your hand a lot more back then.
Oh heck yeah!
Like,
Just
Dark
holding
Souls-
your hand, dude.
Dark Souls got like the prepare to die thing for a reason, and it's not that the hard equals good, but it was one of those shocking things where you're like, oh my gosh, you know. And
It's like here's a game,
That's
dumbass.
one of those dumb apples. It's one of those
necklace.
defining moments where you're just, oh yeah, okay,
Dumb necklace.
that's one of those old Souls moments that kind of got you in.
It is
Yeah.
true.
That's my number 2.
That's number 2.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I like that. I like
Number
that
1's
for
a
you.
weird personal thing for me.
My number 1's a weird personal thing for me too, and I'm so curious if it's the same one.
Okay, go ahead.
My number 2 is the Batwing Demon.
Yes.
Now, the reason why is I think it is aesthetically one of the creepiest and coolest like designs that they have. It feels like I'm in a medieval fighting demons. Like it
Sure.
really is that because like you know, in some places you're just fighting a zombie, right? The
Mhm.
undead. You're fighting bushes that shoot things at you. Again, not to like set it down. I'm just saying like
Sure,
it
no,
doesn't
no,
feel
no.
as medieval. It feels more fantasy. And then as soon as you get into you're fighting giants, and then all of a sudden you're fighting these huge bat demon things,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, like I'm like in. I don't know, like it just feels great to kill them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like their aesthetics a lot. I think they did a good job of making me go, ooh, God.
I used their spear for a whole run one time. I had a pretty good time with it.
Their spear's kind of fun.
It's not a fantastic spear because it's Twinkling Titanite
What
spear
did you
first.
do? 2 spears. Do.
There's no dual wielding in Dark Souls 1. So
Yes, there
you can-
is. We got to mod
well,
it.
you can put them both. No, you can put it both on. I mean, that's not Dark Souls 1 then. But you can put them both on. But you don't have like a unique moveset for 2. You can just do one and then block with the other one. You know, I mean, they can't really do anything with dual wielding in Dark Souls 1. But it's a good spear if you two-hand it. It does lightning damage. I think it's kind of fun, but it's not that spear that you write home about in that game. Which I think is still the wing spear in that one. I think.
The wing spear?
Yeah.
Is it the spear with 2 wings like this?
It's just got 2 spikes out and then spits up. Yeah.
Well, I never used that one.
But the wing spear, I don't think spears are like a particularly strong choice in Dark Souls 1 in the first place. I don't remember.
I've never honestly done a
like-
spear playthrough at all.
Spear playthroughs are so fun in Elden Ring, dude. Oh, they're so fun.
Maybe
in
I
Elden
should
Ring.
try that in Elden Ring.
Yeah, just
maybe
go
I should
get
do Elden Ring
Go
first.
get like a short
Oh,
spear.
because you can just ride
or-
your horse and
Yeah, you can do that, or you could just like two-hand it and just stab guys from far away and roll around and be really cool. You know, the best weapon in Elden Ring is a spear, in my opinion.
Is it?
Vike's spear is probably the best
Really? It's the best one?
in the game. Probably it has a madness ability on it that.
Oh, that makes sense.
There's not a lot of defenses to madness in the game. Even though like enemies can't become mad, oh, it's only PvP.
Right.
You know, the amount of damage that can do because of that.
Right, because it has like that
Because
extra...
no one really resists it that much.
Yeah.
It's insane, dude. Vike's spear is awesome.
Okay, maybe I'll do a
Plus, it
little
has great
playthrough
skill.
of that.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of fun.
I can't remember where you get that spear though. I think that was Caelid or was
I just wish
that?
they would cross-platform it already.
Oh, so you can play with your friends on.
Yeah, I just want to play with you. I just want to
hard.
go through the world with you, my guy.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I think
That'd
I've
be super
been
sick.
really itching to play Elden Ring again, but I don't. I just don't want to fall into a Reichardt's Blasphemous Blade loop again, which I just feel like I get pulled into every time.
You just have to not.
I know.
Well, you know what you do?
But it's so
is you have
fun.
to just sell it.
No, I mean I need to use the Remembrance.
Nope.
I'll just use the Remembrance. I'll just inherit I'll just use the Remembrance. That way I can't get it. How would I sell it? Just use a Remembrance.
What does that mean? I don't know. What is a remembrance?
You use Remembrance is what you get from the boss to turn into a boss weapon.
But do you have to get the? I thought you just got it from beating
No,
someone.
you have to use his Remembrance to get it.
Oh.
It's one of the you can get that, or you can get
because it's the snake guy, right?
it's the snake guy. You get that, or you get like a fire spell. I think I'm not sure.
Who would choose this fire spell over that epic
Pretty
sword?
beefy.
Well, the sword
Although
is
Reichard's
objectively
dude, I
the
saw
sword
this-
is just the best.
I know that we're like a little off track here, and like we haven't gone over our top 1 for Dark Souls 1. Real quick, the sword is pretty high ranked in terms of like actual like PvE viability. Like obviously you and I know this because we've used it way too much. But it's like there's a guy online that like did a ranking on YouTube. It's a long video. It's like 300 weapons. He did it from 300 to 1, and I was like, this is really cool. Number 1's Vike's spear, I think, and a lot of the community would probably get behind that. But Reichard's up there in the top 20, 30. You know, it's one of the best great swords in the game.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. It's
Top
not as good as
tier.
Golden Order Greatsword, which is the one you get from Elden Beast, I think, which is a little better. Maybe I don't know.
It looks dumb.
It's dude that is the farm weapon. It's so beefy. It's so beefy. Just to fire a giant golden wave out. Oh my goodness, dude.
I mean, that's fair.
Does so much damage. If you have the same setup as you have,
That's
with,
fair. If you don't want to have fun playing the game, that's fair.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
I want to try different. I want to try different stuff. I want to do different stuff with Elden Ring. I know.
Yeah.
Now that I've
you
done
can
like
dual spears. You need to do a dual
but
spear.
like now that I did Dark Souls 2 with the case deuce, you know, and like really had some fun with like dual wielding. I kind of want to see what else is out there.
mm-hmm.
Like I've never really gone into power stancing in Elden Ring. I've only ever done like big weapon.
Well, that's
attack.
what I'm saying. Because
You know?
so they started that in 2,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
and
2
then
is where it started.
I got to look up like a lot of weapons that do that because I did not even know the game did that until we
Yeah.
played it at the cabin. You're like, yeah, let's get it to this level and you can do a different stance. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Dual rapiers is pretty fun in DS too.
Okay.
I ended up dropping the case deuce and went to the red iron twin blade or rusted iron twin blade, and that is a broken weapon in Dark Souls 2. Holy garbage! That is insane. You twirl that thing around and hit him like 6 times. Are you kidding me?
That is sick.
Anyways,
I like that.
Number
What's your number one, dude?
My number 1. So
I'm so excited. I've had
I beat Dark Souls probably a couple times before I ever found out about it. More than twice, actually.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've mentioned Darkroot Basin and Deep Root Gardens, I think, whatever it is, where the butterfly is and the stone knights, and
Yeah.
all that is.
Okay. Yeah.
So for the longest time, I didn't know there was a lower area to that area. Like I knew I thought it was that one area with the armor in the middle, the tower where the butterfly is. That's it. Like on my second or third playthrough, I'll say I found out there was a tree that you can kill.
Uh-huh.
That's my favorite enemy in that game, dude.
The tree that you can
The
kill.
tree that you can kill.
It doesn't even attack
The
you.
environment. It just revealed more to me though.
Yeah.
Back, and I was like, this is such a cool thing that I was not expecting from this game.
Interesting.
Whenever they do
Okay.
these weird ploys of like, hey, these enemies can't damage you, they're like resources,
Yeah.
This enemy's purpose is just to throw you off and to make you, because it changes spots at some point, I think.
Does it?
Yeah,
I did
'cause
not know
it
that.
can move around.
Oh.
And I was, I don't know.
That's
dude.
sick.
Whenever enemies really work with the environment like that,
Yeah.
I'm just super, super into that.
That makes sense.
When the world is more than just enemy wants to kill you, it is no. This enemy
Enemy wants
exists.
to kill
This
you.
enemy exists in this world, and its goal might be just to confuse you.
Mhm. You're in.
That's such an interesting thing. And
I love that.
And in the grand scheme of things, it's not that great in Dark Souls 1 because it's really not the most interactive thing, but it's the thought is there, right?
Yeah.
And it is cool that it does guard a whole path that you like aren't even realizing, because you don't ever fight enemies like that. I think there's only one or two of them in the whole game, and they're in that area.
Right.
That's it. I love that,
That is
so
very
much.
cool.
It's so cool.
It makes sense.
I knew you weren't going to have it as your favorite.
Man, dude, you were so close. You were saying all the right things. I was like, yep, area. Oh my gosh, it's going to be the same. Mine is the great feline.
Where's
The big cat. Which is
where?
in that grassy area. I believe it's down below. It's with like the people who are ghosts. They're like invisible and they attack you. The big cats that roll as balls. They're like,
Oh,
and they hit you.
I forgot about those
Dude,
guys.
they're my
altogether.
favorite. The reason why is I love the design.
They're further in the garden.
They're further in the garden.
Yes.
I love their
What a
design.
unique monster.
It kind of just reminds me a little bit of like Alice in Wonderland
Yeah.
cat, but then a lot more ferocious.
Dude, I really want to play Dark Souls 1 again now.
Yeah, it's good.
Dude,
I
dude.
enjoyed that enemy a lot.
Those guys
I
killed me.
want one as a
Pet.
pet.
Yeah, those guys killed me a lot.
Dude,
Because they're guarding
they
something.
rock me.
Like, you need to fight them. They're guarding something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what
It's like
it
an
is.
armor or it's like a ring or a key or something.
Oh, who knows?
Who cares?
It's something special.
I'm just kidding.
Those are our Dark
it.
Souls
We did it, guys.
lists.
You like
Let's
this?
do our worst 5 real quick, and then we'll do our best 5 real quick. Yeah?
Oh,
cool with that?
this is like a remembrance?
Yeah, as a recap. Yeah.
Sure. You guys already forget?
Do you remember yours?
No, I'm talking to their fans. Yeah, go for it.
So my top 5 for 5 worst: Great Stone Knight, Channelers, Undead Attack Dogs, Giant Mosquitoes, then finally the Bone Wheel Skeleton, which I think is a lot of people's least favorite enemy in that game.
That is true.
My favorite 5 was Dark Wraiths, Mimics, Crystal Lizards, Hydras, and then their Ents. Technically, that's what they're called.
Ents.
Yeah.
My favorite worst was Undead Assassins, Silver Knight, the Great Bows, Attack Dogs, any of them, Blow Dart Snipers, and Basilisks. And then for my favies, I got Giants, Dark Wraiths, Mimics, Batwing Demon, and the Great Feline.
It's really kind of endearing that we both chose Mimics and Dark Wraiths. Like,
Yeah.
like I really do appreciate that. Yeah, that's cool. That really is kind of cool.
It is good.
Thank you for joining us in this fun top 10 episode. We'll be doing Dark Souls 2 at some point in the future. I'm not sure, but you won't see it for at least a few more weeks after this one, just because we have other stuff in the pipeline. So,
yeah, we love you guys. Appreciate you. Share this with all your friends or with people you hate.
like and subscribe. Leave comments, criticisms, whatever you guys think is good for us. And then otherwise, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Boy.
Professional.
Bye.